Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Stryftek and I'm here to ask and answer one simple question. Is it worth your time? On trial today, Steller Blade. Made by Shift Up, this is their first foray into console games, but they do have other games released. Goddess of Victory in 2022 and Destiny Child in 2016, both are mobile gacha games. Steller Blade was released in April 2024. It's a third-person, story-driven action RPG that has some deep Nier Automata vibes. And that's actually the only reason I picked up this game. In an interview with Nier's director YokoTaro, he gave some high praise for this game. He said Steller Blade is a really amazing game, and I'd say it's much better than Nier Automata. Now, I hold Nier in very high regard, easily one of the top 3 games I've ever played. And here, the creator of it says Steller Blade is better? Well, I had to see it for myself. But as I beat the game and rolled the credits, I sat there wondering what on earth was YokoTaro thinking? Well, let's chat. You play as Eve, a member of the 7th Airborne Squad sent to war-torn Earth to help save it from the Naitibas. Things don't go as planned and you end up being the only survivor from your squad. You're saved by a man named Adam, a member of the nearby colony Zion. You two embark on a mission to find hypercells which are used to sustain Zion, and which will help lead you to the Alpha Naitibas. As you explore, you meet up with Lily, a surviving engineer from the 5th Airborne Squad, and find some legacy discs from a member of the 2nd Airborne Squad, Raven. She's found information about the origins of the Naitiba and what might really be going on here. And that's where I'll stop on the main storyline. Any more and we'd start entering spoiler territory. That being said, if you sit down and think about the story for more than 2 minutes, you'll be able to figure out all the major plot points. There was one twist I didn't see coming, but it wasn't substantial. And of course, there are plenty of side quests that tell their own stories. At first, it's not bad and it makes sense, you're helping these people of Zion, but as the storyline progresses and things get more intense, the side quests just feel weird. Going off and finding a teddy bear or a hairdryer and scissors so someone can do your hair.
I style your hair so you feel better and confident. Your hair looks great. It's full of potential. But that potential is hidden at the moment. That's why I said it is dull.
Is that so? Are you saying you can make my hair less dull?
Of course. But I don't have the proper tools with me right now. Those so-called scavengers stole them. I can't run a business without my tools. But then they probably just threw them away. Those tools would be useless to them.
Thrown away? Where?
Things like that usually end up in the landfill in the wasteland.
Okay. I can look for them. In return, you will style my hair.
Sounds good to me. I'm missing 3 items: scissors, hairdryer, and hair straightener.
Understood.
I'll be waiting here, Angel.
Zion's about to be destroyed, everyone's about to die, but yeah, don't worry about it, I'll go grab that teddy bear for you in the middle of the desert. There was one side quest about saving a singer that was actually really good, but none of the others were. As pretty as the combat looks, it doesn't feel great, and there are a couple factors to that. Combat is intense and there's some big incentives to dodge and block, but so many of your moves lock you into an animation sequence that don't allow you to block or dodge. Now sure, if you're like flipping upside down, it's understandable you can't cancel out of that, but something as simple as your basic swing, it has to play the animation and you cannot cancel it with a block or a dodge. Because of that, combat almost turned into a turn-based thing. He does his attacks and you try to dodge and block. When he's finished, you do yours, but you either finish them quickly or stop the combo early so you're ready to dodge and parry their next attack. Because if they start attacking and you're mid-combo, it's over. You can't cancel out and dodge or block, and now that you're hit, you're likely going to get staggered and just take a bunch of damage. It just makes the combat not very enjoyable. Then, if you get into a fight that's more than one-on-one, which is often, it's even worse. Blocking and parrying only works if you're looking at the enemies, so the ones behind you get free attacks, and dodging is hit or miss. And the recovery time after getting hit is awful, so if you get hit once, it's likely you're stun locked to death if the group is big enough. Let's say right this very second they released a patch that lets you animation cancel to block and dodge. It wouldn't be enough because the combat itself has some other glaring flaws. You start off the game with the basic light and heavy attacks and they have various combos. As you level, you get skill points and you can unlock more combos. The combos have more buttons and seem to do more damage, and they even added some items that make it so when you do those longer combos, you get more bonuses. But there's no real incentive to use more than one combo. You'll find yourself using 1 or 2 and absolutely ignoring the rest of them. There's no using one combo, knocking them up, chaining them into another combo, so so on and so forth. And again, that's because it's basically this turn-based combat. They go, you go. They go, you go. Given the general flashiness of the game, I expected more of a Devil May Cry or even God of War combo system. Yes, there's a few set combos, but they all chain together. You're able to move from one to another, dodging and blocking, using what you need to take on the formidable foes. Compared to any of those recent games, or even Nier Automata that released in 2017, Stellar Blade's system feels antiquated and bad to use. And then while you're fighting, you have your HP, a shield, your BHP, your EHP, and in enrage mode you have to monitor. Some abilities use the BHP, others use the EHP. Some attacks have an extra follow-up attack that might use the BHP or the EHP, and those will recharge slowly over time or increase by getting perfect parries and things like that. But because there's so many systems, you're often confused as to which ability uses which HP. And don't get me started on the skill trees. Nothing in them really feels impactful, and you end up with so many points you max out all the trees before the new ones become available. The last thing I'll touch on is the upgrade system, specifically the exospines. These are different spines you could equip that have the potential of altering the playstyle. There was a grenade one, there was one based on protection, there was one based on your gun, another on camouflage, so on and so forth. But they were so niche they were basically useless, and you had to go into a menu to swap them. So you could be running around with the camouflage one, which just makes enemies slower to see you, thus allowing you to get a backstab and kill them, but then the other enemies notice and you're back in full-blown combat. If there was a button, you could hot swap to then the protection one and take some damage and do some fighting, and then maybe you kill all the guys close by and you hot swap to the eagle eye one, you pull out your gun and you do some extra damage. That would have been really cool, but with how it's implemented currently, it's just mostly useless. The game looks really good, and that seems to be standard for Korean-made games these days. The environments are all beautifully detailed, and surprisingly, the game runs at what feels like a solid 60 frames a second. It did dip here and there, but overall, it was solid. One of the centerpieces of the graphics is the main character, Eve. You're given the opportunity to customize her hair, glasses, earrings, clothing, none of which make any difference in gameplay, and that's great. I know a lot of people really enjoy customizing the character to have the look that they want. But the part that almost made me stop playing the game was the over-sexualization of that character. Tiny skirts, clothes that make no sense for fighting, the gratuitous butt shots, so on and so forth. It just didn't fit with the game. And some of the big rewards and unlocks were just skimpier costumes. It's like, yeah, let's go fight giant Natiba monsters with saw-like heads and a swimsuit. Yeah, great idea. The soundtrack's pretty good, but it did get annoying here and there. The number of times I heard Romeo and Juliet as I was running around is uncountable. It's like the song was maybe 1 minute long, played on repeat, and you always hear that part. Putting lyrics in a song that's on a loop in open world areas is not a good idea. If you want to fade it in here and there, sure, but not on a loop. Because the player, me, will just end up hating the song. Now, if you've played Nier Automata, this music sounds very familiar. And there's a reason for that. The same reason the soundtrack's pretty darn good. The music for Stellar Blade was composed by the wonderful composers at Studio Monaka. Monaka is the studio created by Mr. Okabe, but he was unable to join us for this game. Mr. Okabe is the lead composer for Nier Automata. So while it's not him, it's his studio, and you can tell, it sounds like Nier. And that's not a bad thing. Nier had some incredible music. I still listen to that soundtrack. It just wasn't implemented that well in Stellar Blade. There was also a stark contrast when you fought a boss. It swapped over to a more Devil May Cry soundtrack. They basically hopped genres, and it ended up being pretty jarring. So much so it feels like there were two different composers on this game. One was assigned to do boss music, and the other was assigned to do everything else. And they never talked to each other or listened to what each other was making. Moving away from the music, the voice acting was bad.
Angel. I can't believe the Angel is here. Are you the owner of the shop?
That's right. At least for now.
Adam sent me to pick up the new propulsion control board he ordered. I'm here. Is it ready?
Uh-huh. It's ready. I even have a spare one, too.
Good to know. Let's see. How much is that going to cost?
Oh, no. You can just take this. I, heard you've come to help us. Of course, I'll do what I can to help you as well.
Really? Then I'll accept it. Thank you. In return, is there something else I can maybe help you with?
Huh? Oh, no.
It's just that you look like you had something weighing on your mind.
Did I now? I guess I can't hide anything from you, Angel.
Do you want to give me the full story?
I wouldn't be surprised at all if it came out that AI was used to voice these. There's a lack of emotion, there's these odd pauses. It's just bad. So, is it worth your time? Now, maybe I came into this with my expectations far too high, and that could have tainted the experience. But I actually stopped playing this game for a good 3 weeks or so. I took a step back, reset my expectations, and came in fresh. And it still sucked. The combat system just feels so bad and antiquated. I think if that alone was better, I could have given this a tentative yes. But in its current state, there are far better games you should be spending your time and money on. So no, this is not worth your time. Now I should probably go replay Nier Automata and make sure it is as good as I remember and that's not just the nostalgia talking. My name's Stryftek and thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, then obviously the video is worth your time, so please like, subscribe, drop a comment down below, and I'll see you next time on Is It Worth Your Time?